YouTubers, got a hectic one now for you. So this stuff's been going on for years, and this is the kind of stuff we're bringing attention to. And the actual media has done a story on this with evidence. All right, so I'm just going to read you this straight from the newspaper. All right, stacks of prison punishments, unlawful, unjust is the heading. New South Wales is accused of running a kangaroo court inside prisons after a scathing report found thousands of conduct charges could be incorrect. Kangaroo court. If you don't know what that is, it's an old saying that if I suspect you of something, without evidence, without a proper trial, without any of that shit, without you being able to defend yourself, and even if you are able to defend yourself, you're guilty because I say so. Basically, it's a kangaroo court. The New South Wales Ombudsman report on prison punishment in the past 5 years found widespread, substandard, non-compliant, and sometimes blatantly unlawful processes. Now, this is interesting because it's often said and it's often known that the Ombudsman doesn't do shit for anyone, right? The official visitor Ombudsman sits there and has fucking coffee with the governor, It's like you're talking to someone who's meant to be on your side, but he's actually on the other side, or is on both sides of the fence. Inmates whose behaviour warranted mental health support were instead disciplined. People were punished twice for the same matter, and staff frequently used last resort penalties banning family contact. Like when I got done with the phone. I got Segro for it, got charges for it, and also got outside charges for it. Appealed it at court, the judge said unlucky. A fucking judge, literal judge, told me unlucky. After he knew that I'd already been punished inside twice. Still, I'm getting outside charges. Everyone else there that got caught for a phone didn't get outside charges. I'm the only one. So it obviously says, what, did you all talk? The report found about a third of the 10,000 internal offences unrelated to drugs each year could be invalid. 100%. Further criticism was made of the inherently unfair lack of appeal rights, which is, you appeal something, it goes to the governor, all you do is retell your story, and he just ticks guilty. That's it. I've appealed stuff many times, and it's also the fact that if you get a 3-day punishment and you appeal the conviction saying that, we find him guilty, you say, nah, I want to appeal that, I'm not guilty. The governor comes down, says what? All right, you're getting 7 days now, which just tells you don't appeal because they'll just double your sentence. It's another, which is like 7 days lock-in, or, 28 days of bias becomes 56, like just crazy shit. It's another troubling set of findings about New South Wales prisons after a scathing inquiry in March found a serial rapist, prison guard rapist, was protected by management unwilling to investigate rumours, triggering the departure of the state's prison chief. Now, I think I know who this is. First name Mark. Don't know its last name because I don't know Screw's names, except for that one, because everyone would say the Screw Mark. When an officer metering out disciplinary measures becomes the police, the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury, it's clear that any resemblance of procedural fairness and accountability has gone missing in action. Greens Justice spokeswoman Sue Higginson told AAP, the state is running a kangaroo court system in what is meant to be an internal justice system for some of the most vulnerable and disempowered people in New South Wales. It is nothing short of maladministration, like malice administration. They've made it one word, fancy. Ms. Higginson described Corrective Services New South Wales as a renegade arm of the state, and that's what it is. They make their own rules, their own law, their own system, and that's why people don't rehabilitate. This should be a place for rehabilitation, not reincarceration. In one case detailed by the Ombudsman, inmate Tina, fake name, was awaiting trial when charged with failing a drug test. She was not referred to a drug and alcohol program, despite her recorded pleas and prison policy mandating a referral. I have been asking everyone to help me, Tina, a pseudonym said during a disciplinary hearing. This happens often. People trying to get to rehabs, you got to see this person, you got to see the welfare. You need the rehab to accept your call. So basically, you need to organise it with the rehab to do a call through welfare. How do you call the rehab? You need to see welfare. You can't see welfare until you've got the call organised. What the fuck? It's a circle that you can't fucking work out. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking end. There's no start, should I say. Corrective Services New South Wales put the non-referral down to a rule that it could not force remand prisoners into a drug and alcohol programs. They can't force them, but it should be available to them. That failed to explain why a statewide policy to refer all inmates, willing and unwilling, was not followed, the Ombudsman said. And that's true. When you come in, you're meant to see a drug and alcohol person. Whether you want to or not, whether you say you have a problem or not, you're meant to see someone. Young Aboriginal men and women were also confined alone as punishment. Contrary to policy and the findings of the 1991 Aboriginal Deaths in Custody Royal Commission. And I've had this before where I went to Segro with one of my Koori mates and they put us in together because they couldn't leave him alone, which it's a true thing. They're not meant to be one out, which is like in a cell alone. The second report focused on a prison run by British multinational Serco. Serco is the name of the private company that runs them. Found staff unlawfully used collective punishment after a colleague was violently assaulted in a locked officer station in September 2023. Now, this has been going on forever, and this is something that I've often brought up with officers and everything, and I always tell everyone, people strike because group punishment is illegal. It's illegal in the Geneva Convention even. You cannot punish me for someone else's wrongdoing. They do it all the fucking time. Someone will have a fight. They'll get both of them people. Or if they don't know who had the fight, then they lock everyone in because they don't know who done it. Or two people have a fight, they'll grab them. They've been done. All right, you're all getting locked down because they fought. Why the fuck am I getting punished for someone else's actions? It's crazy, and it happens all the time, not just with fights, with anything. They can find a cap on the floor. Whose is this? All right, you're all getting locked in because someone won't say it, and it goes on forever. The Geneva Convention is like a World War thing, like how to treat prisoners. And they're prisoners of war. And you're doing this in Australia? Okay, sorry. Oh, there was a little tiny bit of something. I just had a donut. Sorry, guys. A few bystanders clapped the violent assaulter's perpetrator afterwards, but dozens more were penalised. So the ones that clapped, you can't have an opinion. You're not allowed to clap and cheer and whatever. They might say you're inciting something, but even everyone else was penalised, contrary to law, for matters such as walking over a red line, the Ombudsman said. So people are getting punished for walking over a red line. You stepped foot over, your foot touched that line. Like, what is this, fucking Squid Games? Serco then cut off 175 inmates in the prison unit from the rest of the prison population for 5 days. Conduct the Ombudsman found was unreasonable and oppressive. The multinational has been urged to apologise to all 175 inmates, bar the perpetrator. In a statement to AAP, Serco highlighted that their staff have remained unfit to work for almost a year on. But what's that got to do with the 175 people? They didn't do any of that. But it said it regretted its later actions were not up to standard and it was implementing key recommendations. Recommendations are not fucking actions. You can recommend anything for as long as you want, but that doesn't fucking change anything. Like, yous are a gang, and you need to stop running it like a fucking gang. There are some in there that try to help inmates, and I just made a video yesterday, which is going to be out tomorrow, that goes on about this, you know, and they're the type of officers we need in there. And that's the type of people that, you know, people should be getting along with, and they should be helping inmates, and inmates should be able to talk to them and get help from them to get out a better person without these people with obvious mental issues and power tripping issues in power. Corrections Minister Annalou Send, whatever her name is, said the reports raised significant issues about prison management and changes were being implemented immediately to reduce risk of invalid decisions. Bullshit. A wider reform of corrective services includes separating it from the Justice Department, allowing the minister to appoint and sack the prison chief. Yeah. But also, you know what? When you're hearing a prison charge that an officer's placed on you, why are you seeing another officer who he's friends with that's going to hear the charge? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe once a fortnight or once a week, people should be innocent until proven guilty. Come in, show us the evidence, you sit there. Unless you plead guilty, of course, you know. But why can't that happen? A neutral fucking party, like a real neutral party. Not someone that's going to sit there and have a coffee with the governor. Like, that should be off. We're also getting on with changes to update and restore trust in our prison network, and told AAP in a statement. Also that, there should be two. Like, an ombudsman or an official visitor should not be by themselves, because then they can do what they want without accountability. When you have two people, like someone from like a prisoners union should be set up, because these are people's lives. They might not be working, but they have rights, you know what I mean, as human beings, along with an ombudsman or something, but they should be able to be there alongside them. So it's like someone from both sides. And then they can neutrally agree that, yeah, right, this is wrong. So, yeah, restore our prison network. That includes reviewing the current legislation, staff training, and disciplinary processes that are in place. Fucking review. Stop with the reviews. Start with the actions. Like, this is absurd. This kangaroo court has been going on forever, and it's not okay. It's not cool, and people need to speak up. And I'm fucking speaking up, and a few other people have spoken up. People don't want to go against them because then you get locked up. Do you know what I mean? The police don't like when you talk about officers, you know, because they're sending you there, but they're two different groups. Although they act very similarly, the corrective services try to act like police when you're not. You're a fucking security guard, right? You're there to make sure we stay in, but you should also be there because we don't have access to education and counsellors and all that. I'm not saying you should be a psychologist, but you should have some sort of empathy in you where you want to help people. Do you know what I mean? So that when people come to you and ask you for a request for this, or, oh, can you print me off this? It's like fucking information on a course. Then you can print it off for them, because what the fuck? It's something that's going to improve their life, you know, and keep them motivated to change, right? That's the report that came out on the 23rd of August. So last Friday, very recent report. So we'll see what happens with it. Fuck your recommendations. You can go now. Subscribe, share, like, drop supers and become a member to support the channel. Thank you.